One of the main reasons new companies fail to grow and even survive is the lack of adequate strategic planning. This is mainly due to a lack of knowledge about fundamental market positioning strategies. So, to prevent you and your company from falling into the same trap, we're going to show you the 4 professional strategies to make your strategic planning truly work. These are used by all major successful brands. By the end, you'll know the best strategy for your type of business and how to implement it, even if you have a small company. And if you understand this topic well, you'll be ahead of many professionals in the market. To understand these 4 competitive strategies, you first need to thoroughly analyze the market your business operates in. This will help you identify your brand's main competitors. And here, it's important to understand that, very basically, there are 2 types of competitors: direct and indirect. This is something many people confuse, and some didn't even know existed. Direct competitors are those who sell the same product or service. For example, in the soda industry, Coca-Cola is a direct competitor of Pepsi, and McDonald's is a direct competitor of Burger King. Indirect competitors are companies that sell different products but meet the same customer need. For example, Coca-Cola is an indirect competitor of natural juice brands because both are beverages that fulfill customers' need to drink something. Or McDonald's has pizzerias as indirect competitors, as both meet customers' needs to eat something. Anyway, it's very important to understand this so you can segment the market your company truly operates in, and then apply one of the strategies we're about to show you. So, if you want to understand more about these 2 types of competition to work on your business, write types of competition in the comments, and we'll be happy to develop content explaining everything you need to know. With this in mind, separate your direct competitors to set up a scenario like the image we're showing now. We have 4 categories: market leader, challenger, follower, and market niche occupant. For example, let's say that 40% of the market is held by the market leader, 30% by the challenger, 20% by the follower, and 10% by companies that are market niche occupants. And that's exactly what we're going to explain. Each of these 4 types of market performance to work on your business's strategic planning strategies. So, let's go. 1. Market leader strategy. The market leader strategy is adopted by companies that have already conquered the largest market share in their segment, and they generally have the following main characteristics. Dominate the market in terms of share, define trends and standards for the sector, possesses strong brand recognition, influence competitor behavior, among many other points. For example, imagine the soft drink market. Currently, Coca-Cola can be considered the market leader in this sector. Or, for example, McDonald's in the fast food sector. And this can be replicated for smaller markets. For example, a bakery can become a leader in a specific neighborhood, or a supermarket that sells much more than its competitors in its region. Anyway, the secret lies in clearly delimiting your market to understand your competitors and start developing your strategic planning. And even as a market leader, the company needs to be constantly alert and develop strategies to maintain its position, such as defending against possible attacks from competitors like price changes, new product launches, promotions, among others. Maintaining the current customer base with the same or even improved quality of products, services, and customer service, new product launches, perks for loyal customers, among many other actions. Expanding the current market with new product launches and innovation, new campaigns to attract new customers, finding new uses, or encouraging increased consumption of current products or services, among others. Maintaining a market leader position is quite laborious and needs to be very well studied. Therefore, developing strategic planning focused on this position will help your business work on actions that focus on maintaining leadership. 2. Market challenger strategy. The challenger strategy is ideal for companies that occupy the second or third position in their market, and they actively seek to increase their share, constantly challenging the leader. Its main characteristics include aggressive competitive stance, constant search for disruptive innovation, focus on identifying and exploiting competitor weaknesses, willingness to take calculated risks, among other points. For example, 99 in the ride-hailing market can be a challenger to Uber, which is the market leader. Burger King, challenging McDonald's, and Pepsi are challenging Coca-Cola, and the same can be applied to smaller markets, like a grocery store that can adopt a challenge stance by identifying specific weaknesses of the local market leader, offering lower prices and special promotions to attract new customers, including those of the leading company. As a challenger, the company needs to focus on strategies not only to seek market leadership, but also to defend its current position, which can also be attacked by competitors of similar or smaller size. So, as possibilities for strategic objectives, we can mention it can attack the market-leading company. This is a high-risk strategy, but it can bring very good rewards, such as serving a part of the market that the leader is not managing to serve, offering something better or even more personalized service. It can also attack competitors of similar size, who may not be serving some of their customers well. Attack smaller competitors to prevent them from trying to capture your customers. Ultimately, the challenger company's strategy needs to think about not only attacking the leader, but also maintaining its position against possible attacks from its competitors, both the leader and those of similar or smaller size. 3. Market follower strategy. The follower strategy is adopted by companies that prefer not to directly confront the leader, but rather follow their successful practices, adapting them and focusing on operational efficiency. In fact, some professionals summarize the follower's performance as copies of the leader with modifications. At the same time, the follower has some common paths, which are adaptation. The follower adapts or improves the leader's products or services and ends up selling to different markets. In this case, there are instances where these followers worked so well that they ended up becoming challengers and even market leaders sometime later. Imitation. The follower copies some characteristics of the leading company's products or services, but works on other points differently, such as prices, packaging, advertising, among others. Cloning. The follower creates products very similar to the leaders, with subtle variations, and they sell at lower prices, even if customers know about the inferior quality. Counterfeiting. Yes, unfortunately, this is a strategy that some companies use, even knowing it's illegal. As main characteristics, we can point out avoids direct confrontations with the leading company, focuses on operational efficiency and cost reduction, adapts innovations already tested by the leading company, seeks stability instead of accelerated growth. Among other points, the leading company serves as a reference in the development of its products or services. For example, in fashion retail, some department stores sell pieces that follow trends already consolidated by international brands that are market leaders. Or, in the smartphone sector, there are brands that adopt innovations already tested by market-leading companies, such as Apple and Samsung. And this can also be found in smaller markets. For example, an ice cream shop can copy exactly the same innovative flavors that the market leader ice cream shop in the region created. Even if it doesn't have the same quality, the follower chooses to offer lower prices to attract customers who like the leader's flavors but don't have the financial power to always buy them. Ultimately, the follower strategy knows it can earn less than the leader. However, the focus is on following the leader instead of challenging it. Thus, they try to maintain the stability of their market. 4. Market niche, occupant strategy. The niche strategy is ideal for companies that specialize in serving very specific segments, ignored or poorly served by large market companies. In other words, very practically, a market niche is a small part of a larger market. However, it has its own specific needs and interests, which are somehow different from the larger market. In other words, the market niche is a segmentation or cut of a market. It is the identification of a smaller group within a sector. Generally, the problems faced by this audience still do not have viable solutions in the market, and this is precisely what represents an opportunity for smaller businesses or brands. And some of the main characteristics are high specialization in a specific segment, deep knowledge of the needs of a restricted audience, offers highly personalized products, services, generally practices premium prices due to specialization, among other ways of operating. For example, Nike was not born as the sports giant we know today. It emerged from the identification of a specific problem in a niche, long-distance runners. The shoes of the time did not meet the needs of these athletes. Therefore, the company created footwear specifically for this audience. And by dominating this niche and learning to produce and sell, they gradually expanded to other sports. And this can also be seen in smaller markets, which is even more natural to find. Like the microbreweries that are quite common to find, they work to produce craft beers of different types and with natural and even unusual ingredients to be found in beers, all to serve customers who prefer fuller-bodied, differentiated, and specific craft quality beers. Ultimately, in this type of strategy, companies avoid competing with larger competitors and target small markets that are not attractive to larger companies. At the same time, the key idea in niche activity is specialization. Whether in serving a type of end consumer, a specific region or location, a personalized product, a focused service, a unique distribution channel, etc. However, even when operating in a niche market, the strategy here also needs to consider gaining new customers and retaining them, in addition to creating defense strategies against possible attacks from companies of the same size or even slightly smaller or larger, wanting to capture your customers. Thus, the choice of the ideal strategy depends on several factors: the current size of your business, available resources, the level of competition in your sector, and your long-term objectives, among others. If you want to know examples of major brands that achieved great results for each of these 4 strategies we just showed, write strategy examples here in the comments. If there are enough requests, we will develop content focused on that. Therefore, for companies that have already achieved a prominent position with the largest market share, the leader strategy can be the way to consolidate this advantage. For growing businesses with the strength and structure to challenge leaders, the challenger strategy offers a more aggressive path. But if your company seeks stability, the follower strategy may be more suitable. And for small businesses or startups looking to differentiate themselves, the niche strategy often represents the best opportunity. At the same time, be careful because many professionals end up focusing too much time on working on competitors and forget the main focus: customer satisfaction. Therefore, the ideal is that there is a great balance here. Competitors need to be monitored, studied, and worked on. But attention to customer satisfaction is fundamental for the direction of your business. The most important thing is that, regardless of the size of your company, having a clear strategy is fundamental to developing your business's strategic planning in a coherent, professional way that focuses on what matters. So, to complete this topic well and develop your perfect strategic planning, watch this video to discover the growth strategy that made small businesses become billion-dollar companies, such as Google, Netflix, Airbnb, and Uber. To learn about it, just click on the button above or the link we left in the description. We hope you enjoyed it, and if you want to know more about how to set up and manage your own business, visit our YouTube channel where we have several videos about this subject. If you liked it, share this video with your friends and family to help them too. Thanks, and see you next time.